For those who don't know what it is, you want me to explain it?
Yeah, because I don't know how to explain match game.
Tim's kind of a dummy.
You're filling a blank. What do you want to explain?
It's a line with a blank in it. You fill it on Tim and Sid. There you go. I really insulted his intelligence.
I think once we do it, I'm used to it.
I'm sorry.
But usually you don't do it on purpose. The match game today, Tim and Sid will blank. Normally, they're convoluted. They can be tough. There can be 2 blanks. We decided for the first show we'd make it simple. Tim and Sid will blank. Now, if you're interacting with us for the first time on Twitter, you can also do it on Facebook, facebook.com/Tim and Sid. Plenty of content on there. And make sure after the show, you go to sportsnet.ca/Tim and Sid because there's a bunch of stuff there.
Tim and Sid will be fatter by the end of this process.
More likely. Jason McNeil writes in and says, Tim and Sid will survive until July 4th on the air. Augie writes in and says, Tim and Sid will be better than the David Clarkson signing. That could have been this as
Remember
well.
when the Leafs had David Clarkson?
I like this one. Dave writes in and says, Tim and Sid will be the president of everybody. Today, we are the president of everybody.
Is that the best quote from anyone when we were gone?
Sepp Blatter,
winning the election 2 days before he steps down.
Yeah.
I am the president of football and everybody. I am the president of everybody.
Get the Barrington Levy ready. Josh writes in and says, Tim and Sid will last longer than Target in Canada.
Oh. In the face with that.
And Thomas Coy writes in and says, Tim and Sid will kick butt, take names, and eat gravy. And finally,
I couldn't think of a right one there.
And finally, Dwayne Rollins writes in and says, Tim and Sid will defeat Jeannie Bouchard in straight sets. Oh my goodness.
It's kind of like that. At Tim and Sid,
That's
it's
how
the
it
match
goes.
game. We'll read the cleanest and the best ones on here. By the way, Tim, before we...
Oh, by the way, if you've never been to this show, follow the hashtag match game on Twitter because some of the ones we can't read make their way there, if you know what I'm talking about.